Welcome back. It is a Freaky Friday, but it's a fun Friday. Everybody working for the weekend, of course, and we're working for you every day right here on Newsmax TV. And what I try to do every day on Liquid Lunch is bring you the guests, as I say, who know where the rubber meets the road. And nobody that we bring on the show knows where the rubber meets the road better than this guy. John McDonagh joins us now. He is a New York City cab driver. He is a comic. He's an activist. He's an Army veteran. He's a radio talk show host. He's also the producer of a great play running right here in New York called Off the Meter. Johnny, thanks for joining us again.
No, thanks for having me back.
Well, you're fantastic. And when you come on, the ladies swoon, the feedback, the social media posts go crazy.
I think they call that fake news.
Well, That's why he's a comic on top of everything else. But among the other long list of credentials that I cite when introducing you, I understand one of the key players in the Roger Stone drama, Randy Credico, was basically the person who they're alleging he threatened to kill his dog or something. You were actually Randy Credico's campaign manager when he ran for mayor in New York City.
That is right. When he ran against Schumer, too, in the Senate, we traveled around the whole state. It was as crazy a race as you can imagine Randy being involved with. And I got a real insight into Randy. As a matter of fact, I was speaking to him just about an hour or two ago. He's heading over to London to go to the hearing for Julian Assange, where really everything that goes on with Roger Stone started in London at the Ecuadorian embassy with Julian Assange. So he's going over for a hearing for that now. And I spoke to him. I said, what do you think about the sentencing of Roger Stone? And, you know, I think he's hoping that he's going to get a pardon because Randy doesn't want anyone to go to jail. And also, he doesn't believe that there's going to be a retrial. Because I said to him, I said, will you be testifying again? And he says, no, I don't think so. I don't think there'll be a retrial. He says, they have my the emails. They have my text messages. They don't need me. I think he's being a bit optimistic there, but this is what he's thinking.
Well, I mean, me personally, Johnny, I don't know where you come down or Randy comes down on it, but I would hope that the president would end the madness and just give him the pardon already, rather than put the whole system through its chops.
But I've seen Randy in action, particularly late at night, a couple of drinks, sending out text messages, receiving them, and going at people. It was never taken seriously. But once the federal government gets involved, that's it. When you look at it on paper, you go, oh my God, this looks serious. But it was Randy and Roger just going at each other. And Randy said as much when he sent a letter to the judge saying, I did not feel threatened. I did not have to protect the dog or anything like that. But she didn't really weigh that up that much. She should have taken it far more serious that Randy did not feel threatened as a witness in this case.
Well, I think somewhere in there, you know, everybody's attacking the judge, you know, but I think somewhere in there, you know, she kind of did put some weight in that with her sentencing. I wish she got probation and it was all over with, but she didn't go to the most, you know, exacerbating circumstance, because if she believed that the victim felt threatened or something, she would have went with the 7 to 9. So she only went with 40 months. So it looks like, you know, Frank wrote a letter on behalf of Roger, and I know Randy did too. So when the guy who supposedly felt threatened says he wasn't threatened, you know, should.
Well, then I think it should have had probably a lot more weight. But what about the letter that was sent by 1,000 prosecutors saying they want the 9 years? Have anybody ever met a federal prosecutor who doesn't think you should deserve more time? I mean, where was the ACLU and all the left-wing groups coming up with a letter saying, listen, we want a less of a sentence for all people that are coming up on because of these federal guidelines where they go up to a scoreboard and they try to weigh up, well, he did this, he did that, whereby limiting the discretion of the judge of what you can sentence. I mean, the left should have been out in the forefront saying, listen, this was ridiculous 9 years. We want to see less sentencing for everyone. We just had a friend of ours here in New York City, Tony Popper, writing into the New York Times stating that Stone probably should get pardoned because, like, he was pardoned.
Right. So another guy here on the New York City scene that I'm sure you have, you know, a lot to say about is our former mayor, Mike Bloomberg. Recently spent $350 million on television commercials across the country. Got on the stage the other night at the debate and just took a hammering. I mean, this guy took a beating.
My problem with all of this is, why do billionaires and millionaires feel it's a good fit for them to join the Democratic Party. Their natural homeland should be in the Republican Party, Bloomberg. Even now, Bernie Sanders is a millionaire. Warren is a millionaire. Where are the working class people that are running within the Democratic Party? Does everybody now have to be a billionaire or a millionaire, that we have to match what the Republicans are doing with Donald Trump? He's got a billionaire, so now we have to come up with. The Democratic Party should not be a safe place for billionaires to think, you know what? That's a good party for me. Let me join the party who has socialists in it and people that really hate me. This is ridiculous. If he wanted to run, he should have ran a primary against Trump.
You're right about that.
Two billionaires going at each other would have been great.
Bernie Sanders shares some of your sentiments. He doesn't think, Bloomberg should even be running. He doesn't think he can win. Take a look what he said about what Trump would do to Mini Mike.
Were you surprised by how unprepared he seemed for some very basic, obvious questions at the debate in Nevada?
I was. And if that's what happened in a Democratic debate, I think it's quite likely that Trump will chew him up and spit him out.
Chew him up and spit him out?
He will. And that's what's going to happen. Bernie Sanders, he didn't have a crystal ball to realize that. All you had to do was watch the last debate to know that what Trump is going to do to him. And it's ridiculous. And what he'll do is just pour more money in. I mean, he is spending so much money now that people actually believe that he was the vice president to Obama. I mean, that's a lot of money.
Right.
I mean, they don't even think Biden's the vice president anymore.
Well, yeah. I don't know who would want to spend $350 million to make people think you were Joe Biden, because Joe Biden's already limping to the finish line, it looks like, doesn't it?
But how many pictures did he take with Obama?
Oh, my goodness.
Bloomberg.
Yeah, I mean,
Good
these
God,
commercials,
we're going through his
you would
photo
think they
album.
were best buddies. He's got, in the plane and this
And where
that.
is Obama on this? Why isn't he denouncing a billionaire in the Democratic Party using his photos in order to enhance his chances to win the Democratic Party? I mean, people got to come to the forefront now. Let's not wait until the convention in July. He's got to speak out now about what he thinks about Bloomberg.
What do you think about this whole thing floating around that Bloomberg may go with Hillary as his vice presidential candidate? Could that help the Democrats?
Yeah, it will help Trump, that's for sure. I mean, people didn't want Hillary the first time. Why would they think now as vice president they wanted her? They didn't want her as president. Now they're going to want her as vice president. I think they're throwing a lot of stuff out, but a lot of this has to be nipped in the bud. You can't let this stuff float out there and people are thinking this and that. People who are in positions of power like Perez and all these other guys, they have to come out right now and speak out. Listen, we don't want someone buying the Democratic Party like Trump bought the Republican Party. We have to end this now.
Well, Hillary spent, by some accounts, almost $1 billion on the campaign. Trump spent like $250, and he beat her. So there's something to be said about maybe it's not all about how much money you spend.
Well, no, but it was her personality that didn't carry her over the finish line. She was too busy campaigning in the Hamptons instead of being out in Michigan and all the other Midwestern states, just like Trump was doing. Because at that time, if you remember, people were saying, why is Trump going out there? Why is he going to that small town? And here she is. She's already
just won't vote. And there's some recent poll out that 1 in 10 Bernie supporters actually voted for Trump in the last election. And you never know. The Democratic Party gets crazy in about a minute, but we'll keep you posted on that. And we're going to mix it up with Joe Kovac and Rob Taub right after this. John McDonagh, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you for being with us. Stay right there. More Liquid Lunch after this.